presenter today. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Randy Hunter. She's the Associate Professor and Program Director for the MSHRS program. So I will let Randy take it away.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I think it sounds good.
You can get good? Okay, awesome. Hi. I'm just going to go ahead and give a blanket overview, some of the basic information to kind of give you guys a framework to start from. This information will be for the entire program. There are, as you'll see, a couple of options for students who are applying and pursuing the master's in HRS. And we can go into more details with specific questions that you might have per those options at the end. So this will be kind of a broad overview, but please keep specific questions in mind, and we can do those at the end. So I'm going to make sure I share the correct screen. Okay. Let's see here. My toolbar is in the way. Okay. Is everybody seeing slides?
Yeah, we're seeing the one. Oh, there it goes. It's the full screen now.
The full slide? Okay. Okay, so as Emily mentioned, I'm the program director for the Masters of Science in HRS. I've been in this role for about 8 months. We just recently, in autumn of 2024, launched a revamp of this program. Our program has existed for a while, but in sort of a different format and with different options for curriculum. We really wanted to be able to offer an online or distance education version of our MS. And so we have retained our in-person option, but we have added an online option, and that began in 2024. Okay, so just as an overview in terms of the team for the MS, the director for all of academic affairs is Dr. Lindy Weaver. She also recently took over this role from Marcia Nelms, who retired, last summer as well. So Lindy is directing all of the curriculum and academic affairs and runs the Office of Academic Affairs in HRS, who oversees student experiences within HRS. I am the program director, and another individual that you will, if you are inquiring about the program, if you apply and join our program, that you will interact with quite regularly is Ashley McCabe. She's our graduate program manager. She is an extraordinaire for curriculum planning, as well as ensuring that we are meeting guidelines in terms of deadlines for the graduate school. She's our liaison for the graduate school. And so Ashley is not able to join us today, but she is a wealth of information, and you may see some communications coming directly from her should you apply to our program. So just as an overview, a couple of key things to think about when we're talking about what really sets our masters in HRS apart. So the first thing I'd like to share is that we really pride ourselves on providing quality mentorship for all of our master's students. The faculty in HRS, which is approaching nearly 100 different individuals, are really world-renowned educators in their field, who are performing cutting-edge research in health, injury, rehabilitation, and quite a few diverse aspects that deal with each of those. And so a key component of doing a master's in our program is really that you will be able to experience and work closely, whether you're a distance an online student or an in-person student, with this faculty, both in coursework as well as in mentorship through either a research project or a research thesis. We're also highly interdisciplinary. The School of Health and Rehabilitation Sciences has multiple programs and multiple faculty with different backgrounds that are related to health and rehabilitation sciences. So that allows us to be flexible and help our students in the master's program to customize their experience, to really meet the goals that they're interested in achieving by completing the master's. And there are endless opportunities. As I'm going to go into the tracks and the opportunities in our MS, we have the advanced practice option, which really is targeted to our working professionals or to individuals who would like to seek career advancement in the health and rehabilitation sciences world. So we have multiple different aspects of our advanced practice track and opportunities to go into teaching and leadership within the healthcare industry, research, healthcare management, injury biomechanics, to specialize in aging. We have a few certificates that will train you to do to be ready for different certifications. So these are three key components that I think set our master's program apart from other master's programs and as it relates to being involved in the health realm. So our Masters of Science in HRS has rolling admissions. I'm going to give you a little bit of information, just basic information. This information can be accessed from our website through if you look at MSHRS at OSU or through OSO, Ohio State Online. So our rolling admissions means that we admit to start at the beginning of each term. So you are able to apply to start in the summer, the autumn, or the spring. And these are the application deadlines for each of those. So if you're interested in enrolling in summer of 25, that application deadline closed earlier this month. If you're looking at summer of 26, then next February 1st would be that application deadline. If you're interested in enrolling and starting the program in autumn of 25, then you have until April 1st of this year to complete the application. The requirements for applying to the Masters of Science are really set by the graduate school. So we require that you have a minimum cumulative undergraduate GPA of a 3.0 on a 4.0 scale. For international students, this can be calculated and transformed to match that 4.0 scale. We also require a bachelor's degree from an accredited university or college. It is possible that that bachelor's degree can be in something that is not related to health, and you are interested in pursuing our master's to sort of move into the healthcare space in the health and rehabilitation world. So we don't require that you have a clinical bachelor's degree. We don't require that you have any clinical experience. Those things are welcome, but you don't have to have those to apply. The materials that you'll need are fairly standard. For a master's application, you'll submit a CV and or a resume. 2 letters of recommendation. These can be academic or professional. It just needs to be recommendation from someone who has interacted with you in either an academic or a workplace environment. A statement of intent, and if you are on the application website, you will see the prompts for the statement of intent, what we're asking you to write about. This typically, most of these questions have to do with your preparation for the program, why you're interested in joining our program, what you would like to do with the master's after you've completed, just for us to get a sense of if it's the right fit. We do have an accountable mentorship form that is required for students who are interested in doing our research track. I'm going to go into the differences between our advanced practice track and our research track in a couple of slides here. But the accountable mentorship form does require you, if you're interested in our research track, to identify a faculty member in health and rehabilitation sciences who is interested in mentoring you through your master's, through your thesis, prior to your application. The reason why we require this for a research track is because the thesis process is fairly intense. And as a full-time student for a master's, typically you're only around for about 2 years. And so that is not a lot of time to develop a research process. So we want to get you on connected to and a relationship established with an HRS faculty member as soon as possible at that application time. We do not require this of our advanced practice students, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. And then we will also ask you to submit official transcripts to Ohio State. In general, the Masters of Science, again, this is a graduate school and a university rule. You have to have at least 30 credit hours for graduation. You can go above and beyond and do more than 30 credit hours, depending on what you are interested in specializing in with your electives. But to graduate with a MS from Ohio State, you have to hit that at least 30 credit hour of graduate education credits. We don't have a great timeline for completion for part-time students. Many of our part-time students, particularly in the distance education, distance learning, or online option, are working professionals. And so it really depends for part-time students on how much work-life school balance can occur in each semester. So there isn't a cap. We don't say you have to be done in 2 years for our part-time students. It's really up to what you're able to do, your trajectory, your desired timeline, and how that works for you with respect to balancing the other things that are happening in your life. For our full-time students, typically our full-time students can do this program in 2 years, including the summer semester. So it ends up being a total of 5 semesters. We have 2 tracks to choose from. I mentioned these on the previous slide. One is the research track and one is the advanced practice track. These are designed for different students who are hoping to pursue different pathways. And I can give you some examples of that in a few slides, but the course requirements differ slightly. Our research track is obviously more heavily pushing research methods and development courses. And our advanced practice track has a little bit more flexibility in terms of required course bins, in that you have some more hours allotted to electives that you can personalize to pursue a specific specialty or area of emphasis. The coursework falls in 4 categories. So we have a core group of coursework that every master's student in HRS will take. There's a little bit of flexibility in choosing the courses that you put into that core, but whether you're research or advanced practice, you will take the amount of core coursework courses as a cohort. So most of our students are taking these courses together. Depending on which track you take, you'll take different amounts of credit hours towards research methods and design. Again, if you're on the research track, because you will be doing a research-based thesis to graduate, you'll have more expectations in terms of research methods and design courses. The major difference between our research and our advanced practice track is whether or not you complete that thesis, or what we call a non-thesis project. If you are in the advanced practice track, you will do a non-thesis project. And so you have a couple of credit hours associated with developing that project and completing that project. The same is true for the thesis track. You'll just have some thesis credit hours that are devoted towards developing, implementing, and completing that research thesis. And then both tracks actually have open electives that you can use to specialize in an area or to achieve a graduate certificate in addition to your MS. There are many open electives, and they do not have to be only within HRS. Another nice aspect about being in a place like Ohio State is that we can actually leverage some of the courses, the graduate courses, across the university. So These areas that are listed here are divided by the top four that have the asterisks are all graduate certificates that have about 4 courses a piece that are housed within HRS. So if you're interested in obtaining the graduate certificate on aging or assistive and rehabilitative technology, or if you're interested more in data analytics and usability, we actually house those graduate certificates in HRS. So you can use your open elective credit hours to obtain one of those certificates. You can also use those open elective credit hours to focus on other areas of emphasis like education, injury biomechanics, leadership and management, research, and again, lots more. So a part of the mentorship piece of this, whether you are research or advanced practice, is that you will work with an advisor to really hone in on the potential open electives that you can take to meet what you would like to get out of this degree. So for details between the two tracks, so I'm going to start with the advanced practice track. The goal of the advanced practice track is really career advancement or preparation for entering clinical graduate programs. A lot of our advanced practice students are actually working clinically, although you do not have to be. What's special about this track, I think, is that you can tailor your education towards learning more coursework and developing a project that has to do with what you're interested in terms of your advancement. So maybe that's management, leadership, or teaching within the healthcare realm. If you're interested in clinical instruction for health and rehabilitation sciences students, or you can use that sort of personalized or flexible piece of your open electives to obtain one of those graduate certificates I listed on the previous slide. For the advanced practice track, 16, so almost half of your 30 credit hours required for graduation are dedicated to these electives. So you have quite a bit of flexibility to pursue coursework that's going to enhance your education with respect to topics that are relevant to you. The advanced practice track, as I mentioned, you do not have to identify an advisor for the application process. However, myself and Ashley, will work with you in your first semester to identify an HRS faculty member who can be a mentor for you and who can help you with these curriculum decisions, what courses you're going to take to fit your educational needs, and can further your professional practice and career goals by helping you develop that non-thesis project. So in general, our curriculum overview, this is 3 of our bins here that I pulled up on the last slide. So we have 9 credit hours required in our core category here. 2 of these courses that are 3 credit hours a piece already. So our Introduction to Graduate Studies, which will give you an overview of being a graduate student in a master's program at Ohio State and in HRS and how to successfully navigate that. And our responsible conduct of health sciences, this is going to be a research ethics type course. So both our advanced practice and our research master students are required to take both of these core courses together. And then you have a choice from 3 other courses that are listed in our core category. You just have to choose one additional of those courses to meet that 9 credit hours. If you're interested in management or leadership as sort of your area of focus or area of emphasis, we would suggest that you would take this management and leadership course as your core. However, you can still take the management and leadership course in health sciences even if that doesn't end up being your area of emphasis. Our advanced practice students will also get an introduction to our research methods and design, although you'll see that this is much fewer credit hours than we require of our research students. And then everyone will take some non-thesis credit hours. This is going to be with your advisor or your mentor to help you really develop and implement that non-thesis project. Just to give you a mock-up of how semester to semester for a full-time student might look. This is if a student is interested in specializing in education, for example. So in your first semester, we would recommend somewhere between 10 and 12 credit hours. You'll take that introduction to graduate studies in that very first semester. Take your other core course option here and a research methods and design option, and then one of your education electives. So that could be a potential general idea of what your first semester would look like. In your second semester, we would have you take our other required core course, the Responsible Conduct in Health Sciences. A teaching practicum, remember this is an example for someone who's interested in education and teaching in health sciences. Your second research methods and design, and another elective. For a full-time student, typically you'll be going through summer semester as well. So you'll take an independent study, probably with your mentor, to help you kind of conceptualize what that research or that non-thesis project will look like. And then in your second year, the number of credit hours are much less, but you'll take some non-thesis credit hours with your mentor to start implementing that project that you developed over the summer. And then you have a lot of time dedicated towards the electives here in both your first semester of your second year and your second semester. Now, what things can fill all of these elective options? That depends on what you would like to spend your concentration or what you would like to concentrate your education in. So I said that this was an education example. And so essentially what we will do is give you some options both within HRS as well as across the university of different courses that can fulfill that education specialty to fit into each of the elective options in each semester. Now, this is an example for the education. If someone is interested in education or clinical instructor, furthering their career in that realm. However, you could supplement or you could exchange this list for someone who is interested in management, leadership, operational excellence, and healthcare, and we would have different courses available here. So this is really the flexibility piece to design your education, how you would like to design it. For the research track, our goal for these students is to gain knowledge and skills towards becoming a successful researcher, prepare students for careers in industry, preclinical research, clinical research, and even to become an academic. Oftentimes, our master's students in the research track are interested in creating a research foundation to enter additional doctorate programs. So whether it's clinical doctorate programs or even going on to a PhD. The requirements for the research track are abundant with research methods and design courses. So you will see when I give you the breakdown that we have much more of those requirements. And again, as I mentioned before, you'll be mentored by an HRS faculty member. HRS faculty, we have quite a diverse group who do both preclinical, translational, and clinical research, all related to the health and rehabilitation sciences. The research track will culminate in a research thesis, a traditional thesis. Oftentimes these end up turning into publications for students and are oftentimes used as writing samples for PhD programs. So our MS research track would be a potential pathway towards a PhD. So as you can see here, the core courses for our research students look very much the same. In fact, they're identical for our advanced practice students. This is really where you start to see the difference. We require much more credit hours in research methods and design courses. This list is our most popular list in terms of what our students typically take. However, there are additional research methods and design courses across campus that could be added to this particular category. So just overall, no matter which track you are on, again, you have to have a minimum of 30 credit hours. The curriculum varies slightly in terms of how many credit hours are required in each of those bins, but all students will complete our core courses regardless of the track. There is an opportunity to earn graduate certificates, both in HRS as well as outside of HRS, in both the advanced practice and the research track. There are fewer credit hours allotted to the research track for open electives, but you still have the opportunity to pursue one of those graduate certificates if that is something that interests you. The total research hours or non-thesis project hours that you take will really depend on your progress. We require at least two credit hours of those throughout your time with us. But if you are working on a project that requires more of those credit hours to be taken with your advisor, that is totally fine. And our elective options really depend on what your individual interests are and what will contribute to your research, your project, or your career goals. And our quality mentorship with faculty in HRS is going to help you sort of choose those options and give you some guidance. This is just a tentative timeline for a full-time student, whether you're talking about an advanced practice or research track options. But your first semester is really getting to know what's going on here in HRS, what's going on in the master's program. That introduction to graduate studies is going to be key in helping you to navigate that. Your second semester, you're going to start working with your faculty mentor to brainstorm either about your thesis topic or your project topic, as well as really making sure you're planning out those courses, those elective courses that you're interested in taking. Your third semester, really find your niche, get the last majority of courses out of the way if you can, and start to get a solid foundation for that thesis and non-thesis project. You do have to form a committee to get a Master's of Science through the graduate school. The committee composition is something that Ashley and I will help you with, as well as your advisor. But it essentially is a committee of faculty, graduate status faculty, who will help you to develop and give you guidance on your research or non-thesis projects. Solidifying that committee at the start of your second year is going to be really important so you can get that guidance and feedback by the time you are ready to complete your project or thesis, defend that, and then graduate in your fifth semester. So again, this is more of a full-time student timeline. This can get projected out longer for those who are unable to take full-time and doing more of a part-time option. Again, we really pride ourselves in the quality mentorship for HRS faculty. We actually have a list and descriptions of our faculty. If you go to the HRS webpage, you can start to look at some of their specialties, what their research is. Again, if you are doing the research track, you are required to fill out that accountable mentorship form before application is complete, before your application is complete. If you're doing the advanced practice track, you can apply without that advisor form, and we will help you to identify an appropriate mentor once you're in the program. Just to sort of highlight some of the potential options some of our graduates have gone on to do with the MS and HRS, this list is not comprehensive. There are many others. For those who are already working clinically, a lot of our graduates have enrolled in the MS, maintained their position clinically, and been able to advance through the career ladders available at their clinical workplace. So maybe they wanted to move into a management or an education lead. Healthcare management roles, industry research, sales, and training positions, any industry related to health and rehabilitation sciences. Students have gone on to be clinical instructors and taken academic positions, particularly for those undergraduate programs that are training in our clinical fields. Preparing for the PhD, we have a lot of master's students who are preparing to apply for med school, but wanted to get a foundation in research or in the research experience before they do so. I'm preparing for other clinical doctorate programs as well. So some of our master's students have enrolled in their doctorate of physical therapy or occupational therapy so that they have the sort of research background, but then also they'll go on to their clinical training as well. So I will answer questions that have been popping up on the chat here, and if anybody wants to unmute, but also these are the best ways to reach both myself. You'll see randy.hunter@osumc.edu or Ashley, who can help you with some of the more logistic questions. Transfer credits, how to go about applying. All of these things are also available on the websites, either MSHRS at OSU or on Ohio State Online. But if you have specific targeted questions, please feel free to reach out to one of us, and this is the best way to reach us. And I think